If there is one thing that keeps me going in this trying time in Biafraland, is the word of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu that says, they will buy us, we will buy them, but at the end, Biafra will come. This is actually a very popular, word from the great Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. A lot have been said, about the current situation of what is happening in Biafran territory. But one thing I can tell you is that they will buy us. We'll buy them, but nothing will definitely stop, the United States of Biafra. Thank God for somebody like Simon Ekpa Njoko, who has actually made it very hard, for the Zoo government to get a hold, on the United States of Biafra. They will buy us. Don't forget that. We'll buy them. But at the end, Biafra will come. We know what is happening in Biafran land. They are finding a way, to annihilate more and more youth in Biafran land. Currently, what they've been doing, as of this January, not just buying innocent people, they've also continued to destroy major market, and major facilities that Biafrans are using to survive, because they feel and they continue to know that there is no how you continue, to fight Biafrans without fighting their source of income. Biafrans are wealthy. Ndị Igbo nwere ego, ndị Igbo na-agba mbọ. That is why wherever we are, we find a way to always survive in between. No matter the situation, no matter the circumstances, no matter the country, no matter the weather, no matter the race, no matter the people. Maka, this great race, this great tribe is actually a blessed tribe. So what they have been doing, currently is to burn major markets or major places where Biafrans, get money. For example, we saw what happened at Nnewi. Even up to today, nobody can say anything about how that place was. So we have to keep on, doing the needful, for, the Biafran struggle, because the Zoo government are not backing down. It's just like devil. Devil is not ready to give up on anybody. He's fighting every day on daily basis to achieve his purpose. That is what the Zoo government are doing, and they are ready, to do everything possible, to achieve their purpose. Now, the whole internet is abuzz, currently, because of what is happening in Biafran land. As I'm talking to you today, it is painful that they are now lying that Biafrans are buying themselves. But the reality is that we know the major perpetrators of this heinous act in Biafran land. I want you to listen to this video, watch this video, or rather voice note. Watch it very well, understand what is really happening in Biafran land, because we on Exposed News TV, yes, before I forget, you are welcome to Exposed News TV. Yes, I greet you once again, and I thank you, for the support you've been supporting us. Continue to choose this channel for your major news and information. We on Exposed News TV are here to always expose the activities of the Zoo government. Enjoy this exposition.
Fishy in his daily life. The Nigerian military has been trying to forestall this ugly recurrence, but the regional security threat has spread its roots into widespread criminal activities and violence. I'm delighted to have the former PDP governorship candidate in 2021, currently a Labour Party stalwart, an immediate past president and chief executive officer of the Transcorp Group, Val Ozigbo. He joins us on Arise Prime Time. Glad to have you join me.
Thank you so much, MD.
Yeah, well done. Just like we talked about there, let's go straight to the fact that Simon Ekpa has been arrested. And will this stop insecurity in the Southeast? What do you think? Also, I'm saying the emergence of a new female leader, a female, has occurred. So what do you think? Will this stop the insecurity we're experiencing in the Southeast?
To be honest, I think for me, the place I want to start off this conversation is to try to paint a picture of how terrible things are in the Southeast. I was reading a report recently by a group of NGOs and authored by one Emeka Umeabolasi and his colleagues, and they documented a lot of atrocities that have happened in the entire Southeast, where in their record, in the reckoning, over 65,000 people had been victims of kidnapping and what have you, and over 32,000 deaths from different, whether state actors and non-state actors. And all of these things tell you the level of deterioration we've suffered. And what is saddening is what has happened even in recent time, particularly in my own dear state, Anambra, where nobody's spared. Archbishops are not spared. House of Assembly members not spared. Reverend fathers, reverend sisters, lawyers, nobody's spared. It's just a matter of who's going to be the next victim. And when this happens, there is not even any hope in sight, no rescue in sight. It's just when the criminals decide to leave you off, if they decide to murder you or sell your body parts, it's their decision. And they do this unchecked. There's no threat of, oh, we're going to be arrested, nothing like that. They can spend a whole 30 minutes, 1 hour in an incident, and this is how bad it's become. And so when we're now going to go into the root cause of this, I don't think it's appropriate to just coalesce it into IPOB activities, because that's what your question is tending to suggest. Arrest of Simon Ekpa, will it stop? As if that's the only, no. Let's go deep into what are actually the root causes of this issue. In my opinion, again, it's just when you have poor leadership, because even within the same Southeast, some states are better than some. Anambra is seen as the worst today. Enugu is relatively better. Abia is better. What are they doing differently? Still the same, and guess what? Simon Ekpa is not even from Anambra State. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is not even from Anambra State. Why is Anambra the worst? It boils down to issue of leadership. Now, let's talk about the IPOB. I believe that agitation actually is not a wrong thing in itself. Somebody saying, this is what I want, it's not a wrong thing. How you go about it could be wrong, and how also the government treats it could be wrong. And that's what we've been facing today. I'm one of those who have called for the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. I don't think the continued detention, incarceration, and all of this is helping matters. And quite frankly, I don't know Simon Ekpa. We see some of the videos he does, and whether he changes, replaces, I think is irrelevant to what we're talking about. Because what has happened is that there are now huge criminal elements that hide under the auspice of IPOB to create all manner of issues. But truly speaking, they are not agitators. They are criminals. So what I say to leaders, forget about this nomenclature. Deal with criminals of whatever form.
I think your governor has even made that statement. He said, let's call a spade, and not an agricultural instrument. Let's call criminals criminals.
Yes.
And deal with them as criminals.
Purely.
So why is that not happening? I'll ask you this. Because you said it's a question of leadership.
Yes.
So have the governors of the security of the SE of the Southeast, have they shirked their responsibilities even with the security votes?
The answer is yes and no. Because I don't want you to put all of them in one basket. And something happened recently in Anambra State where a priest was kidnapped. Another reverend father had to call a governor of another state for help to track what happened in Anambra State. And when the whole thing was done and finally, thankfully, the priest was released, they had to go back to the governor in Enugu State to say, thank you for helping us. What I'm saying to you is that it's not just the case of the Southeast governors. Let's be specific. Some are doing much better than others. In the case of Anambra State, I have no clue what is going on. Why can't we, since the beginning of this administration by Governor Soludo, we haven't seen much being done in the area of insecurity. We've not seen even vehicles bought for security agencies. You hear cases of when they're even sent to work, they get demotivated, demoralized, and then they just ignore. And then if you look at all the cases that have happened, the same story. There's not any attempt to rescue.
But that's not the picture. I interviewed him here. That's not the picture the governor painted. The picture, because I told him that. So I'm said in 15 local government areas, they were asking the president to declare a state of emergency, but he said it must be some, for lack of, let me not use miscreants, some people he doesn't know, but that they've done quite some good job that there's peace in Anambra State. That's what he said.
This is, I don't want us to shift this into a debate, because it's not. Do me one favor. You have your correspondent in Awka. Figure out what is going on. In Anambra State, the government house, few meters away at Nibo, they were celebrating New Year Festival. Criminals took their time, killed many people. Up to today, not a single person has been arrested. In the case of Awka North, the entire of the Urum bush and all of that, if you see and hear evidences from kidnapped victims who were thankfully released, and they tell their story, it is alarming. Once this interview is over, I'm going to share a lot more. Okay. The point here is that every single Anambra person who is savvy enough to understand what is going on, we all come to the same conclusion that nothing has been done so far. It's not a matter of these things are happening, but what is our response? Where is the leadership? What are you doing to create, first of all, the intelligence, the control room, where you monitor and see what is happening in different parts of Anambra State? What are you doing to empower the security agencies? And how do you craft the architecture that bring it down to the local units? How do you integrate the Ndigwes, the town unions, into all of this? How do you actually even provide sufficient empowerment for young people so that they can be gainfully employed? How do you become a source of inspiration and hope so that people will know that if they work hard, they will make a living? The point here is that we are in a situation where, guess what? Everybody is helpless, and there is no hope in sight. And just recently, he's saying that after Christmas, he's going to launch some security initiative. And people are saying, why wait until after Christmas? Are you using that for a re-election gimmicks or what? Why? What happened in the first 3 years of your administration? Why are you waiting on the twilight to launch? Because we say this because we know sometimes what usually happens is leadership. They are usually the architect of some of these things. They empower criminals for political gains. And when they're not in power, they don't know how to treat these criminals. How do you even recover some of the guns you've armed wrong people? And this is what we keep saying. And it's not just in Nigeria. The whole case of banditry, you hear cases
across
of
the length and
yes,
of
you hear
the
cases
country.
of these people actually came in through the politicians who use them for nefarious activities. And then when the job is done for them, what next? They have
because
no
they
answer.
don't have employment.
They have no answer.
They start, again, you've raised another issue. You have the leaders. Because we're talking particularly about the Southeast, even though you mentioned, of course, Nigeria in general. Have the leaders in the Southeast, do you think, that they played the ostrich looking for the cause of the problem outside their shores while the problem is within? Because I've seen so many leaders talk about, okay, I'm going to come to Nnamdi Kanu and all that. But don't you think they've played the ostrich, begging the issue, looking for somebody said it's only the rat that is inside that tells the one outside that there's fish in the kitchen.
100%. If you actually dig further, if you read this report I'm talking about, it identified the real actors. You will see the one that are externally influenced. You also see the one internally influenced. A lot of the things happening are actually being created and caused by also the people of Anambra State.
We're not talking only about Anambra
Yes,
State.
I'm just using, okay, the same way. If you go to Imo, you go to Ebon, you go
Abia,
to
yeah.
Abia, you see those cases because what you even find is that simple intelligence. I sat down with a top police officer recently, and I said to him, well, I see effort he's making, what is going on? And he was blaming it on the locals. Do you know something may happen today here at this port? They'll pursue, give a chase, and then when they get there, ask the locals, where did they go to? Nobody would talk. And I said to him, do you know why that is happening? It's happening because some of them are under oath, which means nothing. It's just a matter of they're getting intimidated. And some of them don't trust you guys to be able to provide this information because they don't know who they're talking to. Maybe once the information gets back to these criminals, that is this guy, you create a problem for that whole family. And so, what do? You think differently. It's all imagination, creativity. Create a whistleblowing opportunity and an anonymous way of gathering this information so that people are protected when they give out this information. What I'm saying, in fact, is that none of these things are intractable. We've had issues like this in the past, and we solved them. So it's just a case of leadership. And what I keep saying to people is they should stop looking at whether it's external or internal. Don't blame anybody. Take
Deal
ownership.
with the issue.
Take leadership. Do what you have to do because you are the chief security officer.
Officer in the state.
That's all.
Now, because what we discuss, I mean, we must not forget the fact that the purpose of the discussion anyway is to find solutions to these problems. I was discussing with a security expert, Kabir Adamu, and he believes that a tripartite dialogue between the federal government, the state, and the leadership of the proscribed Biafran groups, especially Kanu, and this can iron out a political settlement to eliminate insecurity in the Southeast in its entirety. What do you make of this as a solution?
I agree with that submission. You know why? Don't give anybody any excuse anymore. If we solve this problem and Nnamdi Kanu is out, you now know that the rest of the people making the noise are criminals. So it's not a case of debating, are they agitators, are they criminals? So agitators, they have basically not much reason anymore. So everybody who causes any other mayhem is a criminal. They treat him as one. Secondly, we go beyond just governor and presidential, and let's also bring it regional. I like to see the governors of Southeast come together and throw away their egos, just come together, blend together, and solve this problem commonly. Because the idea of you chase them in Imo, they run to Anambra, you chase them in Anambra, run to Imo, doesn't help anybody. But if they are able to come together, you chase them concurrently, and they will have no place more.
Ebubago, what has he been able to do?
As far as I'm concerned, the answer is in the result. I don't celebrate effort. Security has worsened in Anambra State and Southeast. Let's figure out how to get it solved. What we've done so far hasn't worked. The only thing I've seen is some states who have made some appreciable improvement. And what I keep mentioning these states, so that let my governor go and copy and replicate what they're doing, so that at least we can feel a little bit safe while hoping for other bigger strategies. And these things are things that can be deployed just within the next 2-3 months and get things, if we show the political will in solving this and show full certain strategy. And some of them I've spoken about, I've done videos on. In fact, I just did another video today, which I'm going to release tomorrow, just again focusing on insecurity, because it is our #1 problem. Can you imagine how many businesses have left?
I was going to come to that. I mean, I think I have something on business. I'll try to get to that. Nnamdi Kanu founded this now proscribed IPOB in 2012. Since then, it has metamorphosed into varied factions. I mean, we're talking about the root cause of this problem. Some say the root cause of the insecurity in the South is his incarceration, while some others say is politically motivated to demonize IPOB and the Biafra agitation. Do you agree with that? And has this varied factions exacerbated, the insecurity in the Southeast?
I started from this, and I said to you, agitation in itself
is not a bad thing.
That,
when you go about it.
That I want to even be alone. Guess what? If a referendum is actually done on the Southeast, you'd be shocked what the answer might be. It might actually be that, no, we don't want to be alone, because there's a debate as to what side is better. But let me tell you what actually is going on. Sometimes you actually don't blame the agitator, because there's enough to agitate in this country. I mean, what is even worse is that things are this bad, and there's a conspiracy of silence among the elite. And people like you, the journalists, nothing. You say nothing, you do nothing.
We're doing something. That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing now. That's what we're discussing. So you can't say we say nothing.
And then some of the former leaders, governors and co, because they all have EFCC files, nobody says nothing. That's the worst thing that can happen, that in the face of criminality, everybody keeps quiet. So on that note, Nnamdi Kanu was speaking up. It's actually commendable someone was speaking up. Sometimes he goes overboard, and some of us will cringe. No, you're going too far. But he wasn't. There's actually a good premise for people to agitate in this country. And guess what? It wasn't exclusive to Southeast alone. Almost every part of this country. Today, I don't see anybody agitating more than the northern part of Nigeria today. They are all agitating. But how do they do that? Some do that in the quietness of their home, and see, we've got to hold leadership accountable if we want a functional democracy. So, but how they managed the whole Nnamdi Kanu thing was and the same thing happened with Boko Haram, by the way. When these things happen, deal with these issues, engage, dialogue, sit down and, guy, what is going on? Why are you doing this? Okay, see what we're going to do. Don't worry. Give hope, inspire people. This thing would have just fizzled away. But no, it's a case of even when they go to court and you see that everything is now being manipulated, begin to see political dimensions to it. Even the Simon Ekpa, there was a lot of accusation that it was opposition, different other parts were funding him to keep doing what he's doing. We don't even know the truth anymore. But the truth of the matter is that I honestly believe in not digging too much as to the issues in the past. What do we do going forward? And this is where I come in. We need pragmatic leaders who will sit together and say, let's stop blaming this. Take ownership. Because when you hold yourself accountable, imagination, things, and then in the case of Anambra State, I've said it, why can't we just come together as a people? Whether it's some of the of IPO, the church, the Igwes, the government people, the town unions, the traders, let's come together and have a proper dialogue. Where do we go from here? If we have such listening government that can bring everybody together and we craft a common strategy, there's no way this thing can't. But all of a sudden, you just wake up and say, no more Monday sits at home. No solution, no answer. And guess what? People get murdered because you're threatening. There's no plan, no action. Nothing.
It's really a shame that the governors in the Southeast can't stop that. One wonders. But
some have stopped it, by the way. And they move on. Abia, they move on. Where Mazenam can, there's no sit at home in Abia. They move on. But in our own case, we haven't managed it well. That's why I keep saying, when we sit together, we will learn from the successes in different parts,
others.
And we will come together. And this is not about politics. Let's get this job done, because people are dying.
It's about security of property and life, and then the business that has been lost over the years. You know, now you mentioned something about, well, I know you're not in PDP, but just a brief before we end the discussion. It affects you in one way because the talk around town is that all the opposition parties are just failing across the board, and that affects democracy because APC looks like it's standing as a behemoth, and if the opposition can't, rein APC in, then the masses suffer. Ologuaba says he sees the hand of a third force in this matter, the matter of the two secretaries.
National secretaries,
Anyanwu
and
Udoka on the other hand, after court cases, What do you make of this statement? Third first in this matter, the APC is responsible. Is that not indicting the party as to its lack of unity?
There's a lot of things wrong with our democracy. And honestly, people like us, me in particular, I left my comfort zone to go into politics because of my rejection of this type of status quo, that we can't continue like this. What you see is a clear case of lack of internal democracy. What you also see, complicity. A lot of the people who ought to be talking, guess what? They're not talking because they're compromised. A lot of them have their EFCC files, so they can't speak up. That's what you're seeing. What you're seeing is death of our judiciary, where appeal courts will come up with judgment, another appeal court will come with judgment, because guess what? We are lawless. This country is honestly headed to full-blown lawlessness. Our judiciary needs to sit up. They need to figure out what to do to restore their dignity, their credibility. It's in tatters. I am ashamed, honestly. When I see some of my friends who are in that field, I said to them, what are you people doing? Speak up. Forget about this selfishness. Greed and selfishness is dealing with us. And that's why those who can speak are not always been speaking up, because maybe they're on the table that's chopping. So that's what you see. And I honestly really don't care who is National Secretary in PDP. But let due process be followed.
Yes, good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening, depending where you are watching and hearing me from this very wonderful morning. Now, before Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's kidnapped from Kenya and extraordinary rendition him back to Nigeria, people were complaining that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was not going the right way about his agitation. People were all over social media complaining, disrespecting him, insulting him, and all whatnot. People said a lot of rubbish about Mazi Nnamdi Kanu that is currently detained illegally in Nigerian DSSS custody. Upon all court pronouncements of his freedom, the Nigerian government refuses to release that individual. Now, the Nigerian government continued their propaganda, their media propaganda against Mazi Simon Ekpa when Mazi Simon Ekpa rose up to defend Biafraland in absence of Onyendu Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. The media rose up. Ekpa was causing destruction. Ekpa is causing insecurity. Ekpa is stopping people from going to their daily business activities every Monday. That is the propaganda they came up with. And they wrote letters, even used Ojuku's wife, Bianca, to write letter. Petitions. And that petition was granted. Brothers and sisters, General Christopher Musa kept on going on interviews that Mazi Ekpa is causing menace, that Mazi Ekpa must be tried, that Mazi Ekpa must be this, that. Now, Mazi Ekpa was invited by the Finnish authority. And now the same unaliving in the southeast has not yet stopped. Now, why is the government of Nigeria not talking again? Why is this media? Because when I say the media are the biggest propagandists in this world, you will tell me it's a lie. Most especially Nigerian media. They are the worst. And most of you came to attack me the other day. Why are they not reporting this onslaught going on in the southeast? Or is it because we are Igbos? Or is it because we are Biafrans? That is why Musa boys can carry AK-47 to our forest and start unaliving our people. Now, when the Finnish authority invited Simon Ekpa, all of them were jubilating. All of them were happy. They started loading their trailers of cows, cattle, back to the southeast because they all left before. And Channels Television is not reporting all this news. These are the same people, when they when they kidnapped Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, they said, yes, Biafra has ended, that the insecurity in the southeast has ended. But the whole thing still intensify up to today. Mazi Simon Ekpa stepped in. They called him the bad guy. And everybody was shouting. Now, all of you that were shouting that the way the Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is doing his agitation is wrong, the way Mazi Simon Ekpa is doing his agitation is wrong, where is your template now? Because our people are dying. Because you can't keep quiet. Where is your template? How do we defeat this insurgents, insecurity in the southeast today? None of you is speaking again. None of these animals, these Igbo illiterate animals is speaking again. Our people are losing their lives. Our parents are dying in their farms by these Fulani bandits, killing them. None of you is talking. But when you see the good guys come to defend you, the government will come and give you money and you start talking evil against your people. And that's what you people do every time. That is what you do. Where is this Arise television that was granting interviews to Musa? Why can't they ask Musa now that Musa, since Ekpa is not in the picture, since Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is not in the picture, who are the real people causing insecurity in the southeast? All of them have gone mute. All of them has, because they have collected money and because most of these people, what is it called now? Media is being owned by the government of Nigeria. So they can't carry a news that is not favoring Nigerian government. Anything that is against Nigeria, they will never carry it. They can't. Because it's not their people that they are unaliving. There is the south, northwest, and the north central. Why are they leaving the whole northeast, northwest to the southeast? When we say we are tired of Nigeria, all of you will come here and start writing rubbish. But we are going to go. We are going. We are going. Just because these two leaders are not available to defend their people, all of a sudden nobody is talking. All the animals that will come on social media to be writing rubbish, Ekpa is relaxing in prison, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu can never be released. I'm seeing all your comments, but I wish you what you wish those people. Because Mazi Simon Ekpa, like I said, is coming with a heavy revenge on Nigerian government. I'm not the one that is going to fight you. We are not going to fight you because what we are doing now is to educate our people to defend themselves. The people that will fight you are coming. It is not me. It's not me that is going to fight you. Now, the same country where you have these animals that call themselves pastors, that during Jonathan period on January 12th, on 1st of January 2012, these people came out and said that Jonathan must drop subsidy. And these pastors blocked the whole of Nigeria, stopped work. Lagos State was no go area because the pastors came out and said, no, enough is enough. Why? Because it was an Igbo man, so to say, that was in power at the time. The pastors said, no, enough is enough. Nigeria is sinking under Jonathan. I'm not preaching about Nigeria or one Nigeria. I'm just trying to draw out something from my explanations. These animal pastors, because I don't like to call them names, I don't like to call their names because I don't know who is real and who is not. They came out, all of them came out, blocked the road. In fact, they carried Jonathan's coffin on their head. Said Jonathan must resign because Jonathan is not doing it right. Pastors, I'm telling you, head of big churches in Nigeria came out. Today, all of them have suddenly gone mute. Because he's a Yoruba man leading Nigeria. A thief that came through the back door is your president today. That's why nobody is talking. Now, that same fuel that was 96 naira at the time that Jonathan increased it is now 1,600. And none of you is speaking. Can you see how animalistic you are? Tomorrow you will tell us, oh, if we did not pay our tithe, we won't go to heaven. I even heard some of them saying, oh, that they declare 100 days fasting for Nigeria to be better. How eccentric you people can be. How wicked and confused you people can be. Israel did not preach to their people that God will come down to help them. They asked their people to arm themselves and retaliate. Any bandit, any terrorist that you see, gun them down. And that was what Israel did. But in Nigeria, they have sold evil to us. We are now weak in action. We are now weak in speaking out. The same pastors, oh, Jesus is coming tomorrow, be calm, be quiet, be this, be that. Our people are being unalived in the southeast. None of them goes to the president and said, look, the southeast, are they not part of Nigeria anymore? None of these pastors can go to the southeast today as we speak and ask questions. What is happening in the southeast? The southeast that we used to know under other people's leadership is no more the southeast of today. Come to the southeast, there is kidnapping, there is rape, there is killings going on everywhere. Let's call it. Because I don't want to sugarcoat it, because it's so painful that what is happening in the south no media is carrying it. Very soon we'll start sanctioning all these media companies that will come and use our prime minister's name, Mazi Simon Ekpa, to be propagating in Nigeria. That will start writing lies. We will start sanctioning you people. Anytime we see you people write rubbish, we'll sue you for that nonsense you wrote, and you come and prove it to us. The same media now cannot go now and say, oh, Christopher Musa, what is now going on? Ekpa is no more in the picture. Nnamdi Kanu is no more in the picture. Who are these perpetrators? None of them is speaking. Because we are Igbos. Because they are Igbos, so their life doesn't matter. Give us Biafra. No. But you will be forced to recognize us. I swear down, you will be forced to recognize us very soon. Very, very soon. You see all these people that you kidnap, all these people that you have that you have unalived, you will come to give account of them. We are working towards that. All of them. We went as far as Kenya to kidnap a man that was fighting for his freedom, for his people's freedom. And you think you have done yourself well. Okay, that same man now. Bring one evidence of crime that this man has committed. Why are you now detaining him? How heartless the Nigerian government is. Killing our people in the southeast because we are Easterners. I don't want to sugarcoat it because today I'm so angry in my spirit. And where are those animals? Man say, Ekpa, if Ekpa is not there now, Nigeria will be good. Yes, the southeast will be good. They are unaliving in Enugu, Imo, Aba, Owerri, Onitsha. Everywhere in the southeast is under siege by the